Welcome to Evening of Empowerment, the podcast for out-of-school time professionals, educators, and leaders who are passionate about growth, impact, and innovation in education. I'm your host, Richmond Brown, and the founder of Enrich by Richmond, where we're dedicated to inspiring leaders, elevating program quality, and creating enriching experiences for students and staff. Welcome to a new episode of Evenings of Empowerment. I'm your host, Richmond Brown, and I'm beyond excited to share today's conversation with you. On today's episode, we are diving into leading teams effectively, not just in the moment, but with intentionality, with intentional strategies to cross-train, develop, and prepare your team for growth and success. Leadership is more than just managing. It's about cultivating potential, ensuring excellence, and empowering those around us. I've always said when I've gotten the opportunity to lead people that I want them to step out of your title, get out of your title, and drive into your purpose to lead. So, in that, I want to share one of the favorite quotes of this week that has truly connected heavily with me this week. It is, "It's better to be prepared for an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared." That's exactly what today's episode is about. What it really means to position your team and yourself for the next big step. Let's get into it. Alrighty, let's get into talking about cross-training for professional development with your teams. So, cross-training is a game changer. Think about this. When you invest in the development of your team, developing their skills and developing those team members, you create a culture of adaptability. Not only do you create a culture of adaptability, you create resilience and continuous learning. You prepare your team for success, like dominoes falling into place, piece by piece. Once one tips forward, that affects the support of the entire team's growth. You set your team up to be ready and confident to step into the next steps. And this is why this matters. When you do all of these things, it builds first three things that come to mind. You build a more dynamic team, you enhance problem solving, and you create growth opportunities. Let's dive a little bit deeper. So when I say you can build a more dynamic team, your team becomes stronger when individuals can step into different roles as needed. I'll say that again. Your team becomes stronger when individuals can step into different roles as needed. Think about this. When you're out and you start putting into practice to start leveling your people up, you start selecting those lead point persons that your other team members can call on when something comes up. You start selecting those point persons who are going to be able to effectively fill in your absence to keep things going. Also, I said, you want someone and you want to be able to enhance problem solving. So when people understand various aspects of the work and the works that they do, they contribute more strategically. Sometimes empowering your people and giving them true space and autonomy to support and address and provide alternatives to creative approaches, it becomes more than likely that they will be able to contribute so much because they've been waiting in the wings just to share those secret weapons and the creative sauce that they bring. So allow them the time to do so. And also, it brings and creates growth opportunities. Cross-training is a stepping stone for leadership development. Beyond just leadership development, it helps organizations that are planning on growing beyond where they are and allows them to promote within and truly reap the harvest of their investment in their people. So now it's just asking yourself, how can you implement cross-training effectively? In your role, regardless of where that is, take time to identify your team's strengths and identify their growth areas. Pair your team members with different people at different skill sets for them to do learning exchanges and moments to truly collaborate. This opportunity can strengthen teams and support the growth of individuals. You also want to encourage job shadowing, allowing team members to spend times in different roles or shadow different departments, different schools, different sites to learn more and see how not only does the work that they do impact others, but what the work's going on within other departments and roles, how it impacts them. You also want to create skill challenges. Give staff an opportunity to take the lead on initiatives and new initiatives and allow them the space to have that ownership and pride while also allowing them and allowing you to see how an individual is able to truly excel and execute. Also, you want to provide and host training sessions that could possibly provide regularly cross-functioning training workshops for the teams for them to learn, again, the different levels of the roles and those impacts. If you are a leader, it's your responsibility to create pathways for development and growth. If you're a team member, it's your responsibility for you to take ownership also of your growth. Seek those learning opportunities, ask those questions, and step out of your comfort zone. So, let's now talk about accountability for personal development and empowerment. Let's talk about accountability. Professional development isn't just about opportunities, it's about the commitment. Growth doesn't happen by accident, it is intentional. It's daily work, so don't stop. Leaders, I challenge you. Are you coaching your team towards their next stepping stone? Are you holding them accountable to their growth? And are you checking in with them to understand their direction? Here's how you can foster that accountability. First, start setting clear goals. Work with your team to define their aspirations and break them into actionable steps. Host those strategy meetings and those check-ins for the progress. Next, you want to provide constructive feedback. Authentic and honest feedback and conversations fuel the progress that is taking place each and every day. And there are times when, again, those honest conversations have to be those ones that we take in that also not only build us up, it strengthens us and it strengthens relationships. Lastly, I would say to foster that accountability, the last two things actually, is to first encourage reflections. Make those space for your team to truly assess their strengths and the areas of improvement. You as a leader also do the same. Assess your strengths and also areas of improvement. And I recently just did a training at a school where I shared the importance of the team to truly reflect on their day as how they show up, how they implemented, the components, how they supported their teams, how they supported each other. And it was almost like you can do a self-Yelp review. How many stars would you give yourself for today? And what would be your comment? And lastly, I would say, be a champion for your team's success. Advocate for their promotion, recommend them for the opportunities, send them other opportunities, and push them to continue to thrive for more. And to those who are in leadership positions, remember this. Remember to speak life into your team's dreams. Sometimes people don't see their own potential until someone else shines a light on it. Be that light. So, in closing, my call to action, my charge to you, first is to identify one person on your team who has leadership potential and start investing in their growth. Second, have those intentional conversations about their goals and what they need to get to the next level. And then third, implement a small cross-training strategy, whether it's a job shadowing session or a skill swap exercise, to start building your team up. Remember, True leadership isn't just about where you are, it's about who you're bringing with you. Empower the people around you to be prepared for their next opportunity. Be the mentor, be the coach, and be the advocate that they need. Thank you for tuning in to Evenings of Empowerment. If this episode inspired you, please share it with a fellow leader, a fellow colleague, a fellow friend of those who could use this message. And remember to stay empowered, stay intentional, and keep leading with purpose. Until next time, keep pushing forward. Hey, you're still there. Before you leave, I want to take a moment to remind you and share that I am a proud Boost ambassador for the upcoming Boost conference taking place in Palm Springs, California, April 29th through May 2nd. And I also want to remind you that I will also be presenting my podcast, Evenings of Empowerment, live on April 29th at 4 p.m. in the Boost Live Podcast Lounge. I'm super excited for this opportunity, and I am looking forward to being able to connect with you if you plan on being in the space. And as always, feel free to visit my website, www.enrichedbyrichmond.com. Feel free to send me an email, and let's talk. As always, I want to tell you thank you so much for tuning in. Stay empowered, and I will see you next time.